This lesson is one I wish I could share with all guitarists early in their musical journey. Most players, whether they're just starting out or they've been playing for years, they tend to learn the fretboard in the same way. They memorize shapes. And look, that's not wrong, but if you're memorizing shapes without being taught why they work or how they connect to each other, you're going to hit a wall. Beginners struggle to remember where the notes are. Intermediates might be able to play great in one position, but they get lost when they try to move to another part of the neck. Sound familiar? The thing is, the fretboard isn't random. It has a structure and a logic to it. And once you understand that logic, everything starts to click into place. Today, I'm going to show you a simple system that starts with 3 notes and it reveals that logic. And stick around to the end, because once we get that foundation into place, I'm going to show you how those simple 3 notes expand into 4-note melodic scales and arpeggios, pentatonic shapes, major scale patterns, and it all feels like a totally natural progression. So grab that guitar, let's dig in. I got the origins for this concept from my grandpa when I was 10 years old. He was a fine musician. He told me when I was getting started with the guitar, Charlie, if you want to learn all your notes, just think 2 strings over, 2 frets up. Well, what did that mean? Let's say we want to learn where the G notes are on the guitar. We could start at the G at fret 3 of the low E string, and then we move over 2 strings to the D string and go up 2 frets to fret 5, and we've got another G note. From there, I can go over 2 strings again. Now I'm at the B string, but this time we have to go up 3 frets because of the way the B string is tuned, but there at fret 8, we've got another G note. Now that's ascending. Let's flip it around and go up to the G note at fret 15 of the high E string. I can move over 2 strings. That takes us to the G string. We cross the B string, so we got to go down 3 frets. So here we are at fret 12, and yep, that's another G note. We go down 2 strings again. Now we're at the A string, down 2 frets. And we've got a G note at fret 10. Even as a little kid, that simple rule allowed me to easily learn all the notes on the neck. As I progressed as a player, it hit me. It's the nature of the guitar neck. And I could apply this repeating structure to other musical concepts. I want to show this to you in a progressive way, so let's start small with triads. Now, if you're not familiar with the term, a triad is simply 3 notes that form the foundation of a chord. A root note, a 1/3 interval above that, and a 5th interval above that root also. In the key of G, if we wanted to play a G major triad, the 3 notes would be G, B, and D. Those 3 notes contain everything that makes a G major chord sound like a G major chord. Now there are many triad shapes that we can play, but let's start with this one. We've got G, the root note, at the 3rd fret of the low E string. Then on the A string we have a B note at the 2nd fret and a D note at the 5th fret. Now here's where the light bulb is really going to start going off. Remember what my grandpa told me, 2 strings over, 2 frets up. Let's apply that right now. Take our triad shape. We're going to move it 2 strings over to the D and G strings and 2 frets up. And look at that. We've got G, B, D again. The exact same triad shape repeats. Now, let's do it one more time. Over 2 strings to the B string and high E, but this time we're going to go up 3 frets because remember we crossed that B string and the tuning shifts on us. And here it is again, G, B, and D. Our G major triad one more time. See where I'm going with this? And now let's turn it around and come back down the neck. We're going to find that G note up at the 15th fret of the high E. On the B string, we've got a D at the 15th fret and a B at the 12th fret. That's our triad at the top of the neck. Now, we're going to apply the rule in reverse. We're going to go over 2 strings to the G string, but because we're crossing the B, remember we go down 3 frets to the 12th fret. Here's our G, and we can build the triad right out from there. And one more time, we're going to go over 2 strings to the A string, down 2 frets to the 10th fret. Here's our G note, D, and B. Now, let's put that all together. We're going to play all 6 triad shapes, ascending and descending. Here we go. Folks, just learning that much, and more importantly, understanding why it works, I promise you that puts you way ahead of the vast majority of guitar players who are still trying to memorize the fretboard. Because of this system, you don't have to just memorize anymore. You can actually navigate the neck. And here's something really cool. We can do the exact same thing with a minor triad. All we have to do is flatten the 3rd or the B note, 1 fret to B flat. Now we've got this shape. We can ascend using our over 2, up 2 rule. Descending, we have this shape. Pretty awesome, right? That alone might be a full lesson for any newer players watching this. But I know a lot of you are more advanced, so let's keep building on this. Because guitar players are always wanting more. If 3-note shapes are good, then 4-note shapes are going to be a lot better, right? So I've got a pair of 4-note concepts for you that both consist of adding 1 more note to a triad to make it sound even more melodic. The first concept is to add the 2nd or the 4th interval to a triad. It gives it just a little harmonic movement, and that's all it takes to turn a triad into a lick. And believe me, you've heard great players use this concept 1,000 times. Let's go back to our first G major shape. G at the 3rd fret of the low E, B and D at frets 2 and 5 of the A string. And we're going to add 1 note, the 2nd interval of G, which is A. Now we get this shape and sound. Now descending, remember we had G, D, and B at the 15th fret of the high E and B strings and fret 12 of the B string. And to that shape, we're going to add the 4th interval of G, which is C, and that would give us this. Now, if we play around with the sequencing a little, we can get this sort of sound ascending. And this sequence descending. Listen to that descending line. Does that bring anything to mind? This is exactly how the Allman Brothers got the melody for their classic song, Jessica. It's beautiful, right? Now, I told you, I had a pair of 4-note ideas. Here's the second one. This one, it opens up a whole new world. We're going to add the 7th interval to our triads and create 7th arpeggios. Watch how easy this is. Let's go back to our original G major shape at the 3rd fret of the low E. If we add F sharp, that's the major 7th of G. The major 7th is always 1 fret below a root note. We get this little shape right here. Now we can move that up and across the fretboard using our over 2, up 2 rule just like before. Descending, we're going to start with the root note at the 15th fret of the high E. There's our G note. We said the major 7th is always sitting 1 fret below the root. So we get this shape now. And we can use this to come back down across the neck. Now, how about a dominant 7? Well, all we're going to have to do is we're going to flatten that major 7 by 1 fret. So now we've got an F note. It's that easy. And we get these shapes. How about minor 7? Well, let's start with our dominant 7. We're going to flatten that third 1 fret. So now we've got a flat 7 and a flat third, and gives us this. So now we're using that repeating geometry or structure, and it's allowing us to create 7th arpeggio shapes that we can use to span the entire guitar neck. I love it. But to quote a notorious Swedish shredder, more is more. So let's move on to some 5-note repeating shapes. And as soon as I said 5 notes, it should have brought one thing straight to your mind: pentatonic scales. Let's go back to our original G major triad one more time. Remember, we had the notes G, B, and D. And when we started making 4-note shapes, one of the things we did was to add an A note, or the second interval. Well, let's do that again. And the major pentatonic scale has one more note, the 6th interval, or E. So now let's add that one in. So now we've got the major pentatonic scale with the notes G, A, B, D, and E. And if we change how we play those notes just a little bit, we could play G, A, and B on the low E string, and then D and E on the A string at frets 5 and 7. And if we apply our 2 frets over and 2 frets up rule, remember we've got another G at the 5th fret of the D string, we can play our shape again. We go 2 strings over and 3 frets up, and there's a G at the 8th fret of the B string, and once again we've got our shape. That pattern, it's super useful both ascending and descending. And if we go up to the D note at fret 10 of the low E, we can build a similar shape where we play D and E on the low E, and then G, A, and B on the A string. We go over 2 frets, 2 strings, up 2 frets, it works. We go over 2 strings and up 3 frets, it's going to repeat again. This concept always works, people. And once again, we want to practice this shape ascending and descending. These patterns are what we refer to as diagonal or horizontal pentatonic shapes, and they're so useful because they cover so much ground on the fretboard so easily. And let me leave you with something that is super slick. Remember our minor 7 shape that we started on the F note and we played F, G, B flat, and D. If we add a C note to that, we get the minor pentatonic scale. Using the exact same positions we used to move that minor 7th arpeggio around the neck, we can do the exact same thing with a diagonal minor pentatonic scale. Pretty awesome. And here's a bonus. If we raise the B flat in our minor pentatonic pattern to B, so now we're playing the notes F, G, B, C, and D, you'll probably notice the similarity to the dominant 7th arpeggio. That's because now we've got a pentatonic scale called the Mixolydian or dominant pentatonic. And it's a favorite scale of all-time great players like Jeff Beck and Eric Johnson. Ascending and descending, the dominant pentatonic sounds like this. So that's probably the most practical guitar lesson I could give any player that really wants to understand how the instrument works. Not just how to play it, but how it's actually built. We have our one simple rule that exposed the symmetry of the fretboard for us, and it showed us that repeating structure that if you play around with a little, it unlocks everything. I hope this opened up the fretboard for you today in a new way. If it did, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and leave me a comment. I'd love to hear how this works for you. As always, work hard, have fun with that guitar, never stop learning. I'll see you next week.